you so much.
City of West Palm Beach, TV 33. The city is calling case number CBLD.
Hold on, I haven't even called this into order.
Oh, okay.
Usually you tell the TV to turn on.
The TV? Yes.
Yeah, West Palm Beach TV?
Yeah, West Palm Beach TV 33. Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
all right.
And then just the address, right? Okay.
Just let me call it to order and do our
Yes.
thing. All right. All right, I hereby call us to order. Good morning. I'm the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for today's hearing. I want to begin by explaining how the process is going to work. We generally hear the building cases on the agenda first, then the city will call the cases as they appear on the agenda. But that is true. That is only true if you've signed in. So if you haven't signed in, please make sure you sign in with one of the officers in the rear of the chamber. Once your case is called, I ask that you come down to the podium on my right-hand side, which is right over here. The city will put on its testimony and evidence first. You'll have an opportunity to review this evidence and ask questions of any of the city's witnesses. You will also have an opportunity to testify and present me with any of your own evidence. Once I have the testimony and evidence, I will make a ruling. I will enter a written order today at the hearing or in the next few days, which you'll receive a copy of. If you have any questions as we go through the process, please feel free to ask them. This is not a formal courtroom. The formal rules of evidence do not apply here. Though although this is not a formal courtroom, all the testimony here is given under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify, or you think you might testify, or there's a possibility that you might testify, I'd ask that you rise and raise your right hand so that you can be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida? Yes. Please be seated so they can call their first case.
West Palm Beach TV, case number 2601068, 908 10th Street.
Good morning, Kevin Pennington, Building Inspector for the City of West Palm Beach. The code case number is CEBLD 2601088. The address where the violation occurred is 908 10th Street. The violation I observed was a fence on the empty lot. I issued a violation stop work order on the property January 2nd, 2026. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on February 25th, 2026. It was posted on the property February 24th, 2026, and posted at City Hall on February 27th, 2026. The certified mail has been delayed and is going to be arriving late. To support my observations of the violations are a 6-foot chain link fence. The photos shown truthfully and accurately depict the alleged violation and reflect what I am testifying to. Permits and inspections are required for the work observed and for what's displayed on photos shown. Permits have been applied for. Permits have not been issued. No inspections have been performed. Included in my file is a copy of the notice of violation and affidavit of posting. I have had contact with the owner and intends to complete permits and all inspections. City recommends 60 days to comply and $50 per day after that. The time to bring the alleged violations into compliance is a reasonable amount of time. I'm submitting the evidence and a copy of the case file, including all documents relied upon.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Wilton Munnings.
Mr. Munnings, you're the owner of the property?
Yes.
Do you have any objections to the documents or testimony the city would like to put in evidence?
No evidence, nothing as far as the evidence that they put forth. As far as the time period, I don't know.
Hang on one sec, I promise. Without objection, on accepting evidence, the evidence your case file. In this case, the city's composite one. All right, go ahead. Tell me about the time period.
Right. I tried, I don't know the time period of getting this done, and when I talked to the inspector, he wasn't able to give me a specific time period for when this can be done. As soon as I received the letter, I complied with that. I didn't receive anything in January. It's a lot. No one lives there. So I didn't receive anything until, and actually I was here in February, and I didn't receive it until I returned home in Texas. So again.
So you've applied for the permit?
Yeah.
Do we know what the holdup on the permit is?
It's in review. It was submitted last week.
It was submitted last week. It was, the plan review was approved. I paid the fee, and now it goes through to a couple of different groups, historical and someone else, right?
Right, yeah. I believe it was past pre-screen, and now it's been routed to the review, so the different disciplines.
Yeah. So,
Officer, what do you anticipate is the amount of time it'll take for this to get approved?
Initially, I said 60 days, but 90 days I can extend to, if that's okay.
if he thinks it'll work, that'll work.
I'll give you the
wanna
90
get through
days.
with it.
Seems like you're trying to get this done.
Yeah, we're trying to get it done.
Do try to get it done
Yeah.
quicker if you
Oh,
can.
yeah, we're going to try to get it done quicker.
I've noticed in doing this, the place where it often stalls is the request for the inspection. So sometimes it goes through and then the inspection never happens. So you got to keep an eye on it. Make sure once it gets approved, you get the inspection done. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Case. What was the fine you were looking for if he doesn't come into compliance?
$50 a day.
Yeah. All right. All right. Case CEBLD 260108888. I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice sufficient. I find the property in violation of FBC 105.1 and FBC 110.3, failure to obtain a building permit for the fence. Respondent has 90 days to come into compliance, or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue. Good luck.
Thank you.
The city calls case number CEBLD 251208882, 1011 North District Highway.
Kevin Pennington, Building Inspector, City of West Palm Beach. Code case number is CEBLD 251208882. The address where the violation occurred is 1011 North Dixie Highway. The violation I observed was a window modification on the north side of the building. I issued a violation and posted a stop work order on the property December 18th, 2025. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on February 25th. It was posted on the property February 24th, 2026, and posted at City Hall on February 27th, 2026. The certified mail was delivered on February 27th. To support my observations of the violation are new stucco work around the window replacement. The photos are shown truthfully and accurately depict the alleged violation and reflect what I'm testifying to. Permits and inspections are required for the work I observed and for what is displayed in the photos shown. Permits have been applied for, permits have not been issued, no inspections have been performed. Included in my file is a copy of the notice of violation and affidavit of posting. I've had contact with the owner's representative and intends to complete permits and inspections. The city recommends 90 days to comply and $50 per day after that. The time to bring the alleged violation into compliance is a reasonable amount of time. I'm submitting the evidence of the case file, including documents relied upon.
Good morning, Kevin.
Morning.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Leonard Cohen. I'm actually an attorney in Pennsylvania, and I am a representative of the owner and the tenant. We have filed a permit I have a permit number, 26030564. I have spoken to Mr. Pennington, and we are in agreement for the 90 days.
The city has asked that their case file be accepted into evidence. Do you have any objection?
No.
That objection, so admitted. The city would like to give you 90 days to come into compliance. Is that a sufficient amount of time for you, sir?
I believe so. The permits, the application has been filed. I would request, if you have jurisdiction, this is for a charitable organization that I represent, that will be the tenant, to waive the fee, the added fees for the permit applications. It was 4 times the application fee.
I don't have that jurisdiction.
Just asking.
And CEBLD 25120882, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 105.1, which is failure to obtain a building permit for the window modification. I'll give the respondent 90 days to come into compliance, or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
The city calls case number 1, CE 26024901, 4800 North Military Trail.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Olivia Thomas, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. On February 11, 2026, I received a complaint from Captain Thomas Weselick of the West Palm Beach Fire Department on behalf of a concerned citizen. The complaint stated that a field located at 4800 North Military Trail had become overgrown and might present a potential fire hazard. I completed, oh, you can scroll down. Oh, I didn't know if it was full. I completed my initial inspection on February 12, 2026, and I determined that the lot was indeed overgrown, constituting a violation of Code 18-106B for excessive growth. During my inspection, I took photographs that accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed. I posted the initial notice of violation on February 13, 2026. The notice included my contact information and details regarding today's hearing. I attempted to hand-deliver the notice to the attorney's office on file at 515 North Flagler, but a security guard informed me that the office was no longer located there. I completed the affidavit of posting on February 13, 2026. The notice of violation was sent and notice of hearing was sent via certified mail and regular mail on February 27, 2026, and delivered on March 3rd. During the Quality of Life meeting on March 5th, 2026, I was instructed by the fire marshal and code manager to initiate a lot clearance due to the threat of the unmaintained land possesses to the surrounding community. I posted the lot clearance on March 5th. I completed the affidavit of posting on March 5th. The notice of lot clearance was sent certified in regular mail on March 9th. On March 17th, I was contacted by attorney Dean Rosenbach, who stated he represents the property owners. He informed me that the lot was scheduled to be cleared by a private company yesterday, March 17th, 2026. Due to inclement weather, this may have not been possible, but Mr. Rosenbach and I agreed that the lot would be cleared by the end of the week. I received an email from the fire marshal this morning stating that the work had begun last night. I will complete a reinspection next week. It should be noted that the property is already accruing fines from previous cases, which will also be brought into compliance once the lot is cleared. The city recommends 30 days to comply or a fine of $100 per day for violation of Code 18106-B for excessive overgrowth until compliance is achieved.
Thank you for your testimony. Captain, would you like to speak on this?
I'm just here for support.
Okay.
Captain Thomas Wasolik, West Palm Beach Fire Department.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Dean Rosenbach, lawyer in North Palm. It's true that we've engaged, I represent the landowner, we've engaged a clearing company. They told us it would only take a day or two to finish.
Before you proceed, if
Sure.
If you're going to testify to the factual matters, I'm going to need you to swear in.
I really can't testify because I don't know them.
Fair enough.
Unless hearsay doesn't apply, and then I'm happy to testify.
Technically, hearsay is admissible if there's other support for it. But
Okay.
you can stay in your capacity as a representative.
Right.
Yeah.
So they've hired the people to clear the property. They should have gone out yesterday, but for the inclement weather, and perhaps they should finish it. They thought it would take a day to finish everything, including 2 cuts. The only thing I'm not familiar with, and we had a good chat yesterday, was what other violations there are.
The one violation.
Just
for
the one
overgrowth.
Okay, so we should have no problem complying by the end of the week.
The only thing before me today is the overgrowth in the city. I mean, unless you're going to contest, well, first of all, for the record, do you have any objection to the city's file and evidence?
No objection, and it should be, we're willing to comply with what
Yeah. Without
Olivia has
objection,
suggested.
I'm going to enter that in evidence. The city wants to give you 30 days. I think your client has already committed, you've committed on behalf of your client to get it done by the week, so 30 days seems to be a reasonable amount of time.
Perfect.
And,
just
and
wanted
that,
to-
that would
sorry.
resolve this particular issue. The city suggested there are other issues. I don't know. This is the one before me.
Sorry, actually, the city is requesting 10 days to come into compliance. This is a constant issue, but now that I have Mr. Rosenbach's information, hopefully, if we have any issues there, I'll be able to communicate with him directly, but 10 days, please.
That's fine.
All right, 10 days it is. All right, CE 260-24901, to make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 18106B, which is the overgrowth on the property. Respondent has 10 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for your time. She did an excellent job. I commend her to the city.
That's always good to hear.
The city calls case number CE 25114412.
Is that number 4?
Yes, number 4. The address is 631 30th Street.
Is anyone here on behalf of this case? Number 4. Address 631 30th Street. Did we have somebody sign in on that one?
No.
So we're just going by the
We usually call
ones
the ones where somebody has signed
yeah.
in first.
You got to call those first.
Okay.
All right, we're going to hold that one.
Apologize. Okay. One, 13, 2, 36. Okay. 15, 2, 36, 36. Apologize. Case number 13. The city calls case number CE 260147A3, 1704 37th Street.
Go ahead, man.
Good morning, Kishana Watson Foster, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach.
I can't hear you.
Good morning, Kishana Watson Foster, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. While on routine patrol, the property located at 1704 37th Street was cited for several violations that were observed, with the outstanding including Section 34-102-
Officer Watson, maybe you should talk just a little bit slower. Thanks.
So the outstanding sections include 34-102, inoperative vehicle. Vehicle was observed with no tag, and tag that was in the back window was tampered with and expired. Section 18106-L, landscape requirement. There are areas in the front yard that's missing sod. 94-71-C, outdoor storage. There were still plastic containers outside. 74-34-A-1-8, trash can in public view. I could still see trash can from the sidewalk. 94-302-A-4, fence maintenance, fences in disrepair. 18-106-G, painting, discoloration of the structure. 94-446-2-E, edging, encroachment on the sidewalk. And 78-1, obstruction of right-of-way, vehicle still blocking the sidewalk. I initiated my investigation on January 20, 2026. The city issued a notice of violation, which identified the violation, my contact information, and provided the notice of today's hearing. This was mailed by both certified and regular mail on February 25th, 2026 by the city clerk. The certified mail was received and signed for on March 3rd, 2026. In addition, I posted a notice of violation at the property and city hall on February 2nd, 2026, and I completed an affidavit posted, which is located in the case file. On March 16th and this morning, I revisited the property and found that it remained out of compliance. Photographs were taken during both my initial and follow-up visits. These photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations as I've observed them. At this time, the city's respectfully requested that the property granted 90 days to clean compliance. If compliance is not achieved, a fine of $250 until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Barbara Jurema.
And ma'am, you're the owner of the property?
Yes, I am. 45 years.
Ma'am, do you have any objection to the photographs and documents the city would like to put in evidence?
Well, I had a couple of questions on some of the things, but definitely the fence is deplorable, and I know that.
Hold on, I promise I'll let you tell me anything you want. I just need to know if you object to their documents or photographs.
No.
All right, without objection, so admit it. Go ahead, ma'am.
There is a permit already been put in from the fence, so that should be taken care of shortly. It's just coming up with all the money that has to be done. Did do some pressure cleaning on the sidewalk and stuff and on the house. That's going to be painted also. I'm just asking if maybe you could get 90 days to get this all taken care of.
I can give you the 90 days, but there's a fair amount of stuff to do. Do you understand what you need to do?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll give you the 90 days, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right, CE 260147783, I make the following findings of fact and life phone notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of listed code sections. I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officers to the nature of those violations. I give the respondent 90 days to come into compliance or a fine of $150 per day may issue.
$250.
I know you asked for it.
Okay.
I reduced it.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck, man.
Okay, thank you.
150.
The city calls case number 7, case number CE 26024899231, Almora Place.
Good morning. Joseph LaPerna, Code Enforcement for City of West Palm Beach. I'm here representing a case that was initiated by Officer Yasmin Law, who's no longer with the department. On February 12th, 2026, Officer Law inspected the residential property located at 231 Alhambra Place in West Palm Beach. She documented several violations relating to damage to 2 trees on the property. The notice of violation was posted on the property February 13th, 2026 by Officer Law. Certified and regular mail were sent on February 2nd, 2026. Certified mail was received and signed for March 9th, 2026. The affidavit of posting was completed by Officer Law and filed on February 13th, 2026, and is in the case file. On March 17th, 2026, I revisited the property for a final inspection before today's hearing. The trees observed are in the process of a natural restoration. I have been in contact with city landscape planner Megan Bichot, who spoke with Trey Jones of Sutton Consulting Arborist, who provided a private report at the direction of the city to determine the damage and what, if any, restoration can be done to nurture the trees back to proper health, bringing the property into compliance. Ms. Bachat stated she was satisfied with the report. Her email is attached to the case file stating so also. She was satisfied with the report and the explanation of plans for a natural restoration, and explained to me, though, it is a timely process to allow the trees to be fully restored to health. The following violations were noted. However, over time, according to Ms. Bachat, the damage can be reversed if the recommendations by the contracted arborist are followed. Section 94-446-2-C-3, tree abuse. Section 94-446-2-B, noting city policy for tree trimming was not followed. Section 94-446-2-B-3, that the manner in which the trees were improperly trimmed or tree topping or hat racking, as it is commonly referred to, is prohibited. Photographs were taken by Officer Law at the initial investigation on February 12th, 2026, and again by me on March 17th, 2026. The photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations and initial corrections observed by officers during the course of this investigation. In speaking with Ms. Bachat, the city is requesting that Special Magistrate accept the plan to bring the trees into full restoration, which will take approximately 1,825 days or 5 years. During that time, the respondent or an agent on their behalf will be required yearly to provide a written assessment on the health and continuing restoration process of the trees by a licensed arborist. The city respectfully requests the respondents submit their yearly report on March 1st, but no later than March 5th every year, beginning in 2027 and ending in the year 2031. These reports are to be collected, reviewed, and placed in the case file. A yearly site inspection by code enforcement and landscape planning will also be conducted to ensure the facts provided in those reports are accurate. At the end of the forecasted restoration period, there will be a final inspection of the trees by code enforcement and the city's landscape planning divisions to determine if the final compliance standards have been met, bringing the case to compliance. If the determination is made at the time the damage has been irreversible, evidence will be presented at that time to Special Magistrate in determining if fines or alternative actions such as tree replacement are warranted. If at any time the respondent fails to provide the yearly health report within a reasonable amount of time agreed upon, the city finds the respondent in violation of this order and will request action be taken at the next scheduled magistrate hearing.
That's a lot.
Thank you.
Sir, can you tell me your name?
James Gray, owner of the property.
Does the city want to submit the...
Yeah, thank you, Special Magistrate. The city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Mr. Gray, do you have any objection to the case file, photos, and evidence being submitted into evidence?
I do not.
Without objection, so admitted. So that was a lot. I presume you've discussed this with the code officer?
We just discussed it prior to this as I was walking in based on the reassignment and the quick turnaround of that. So,
are those terms acceptable to you, sir?
They are. I mean, I had some questions for him based on, how this would work if the property changes hands and if we comply sooner than that 5-year report. That's a long timeline.
That's a fair question. Do we know how those two things work?
What would happen is if their arborist were to state that the trees are fully restored, our landscape planners would go out and verify if that is the case, at which time an affidavit of compliance would be completed.
And what happens if the property changes hands?
Ultimately, the respondent is responsible for the damage they cause to the trees.
Oh, there you have it. They're going to hold you to it either way.
I abused them.
Yeah. Are those terms agreeable to you, Mr. Gray?
Yes.
All right. In case CE 260248999, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice sufficient, I find the property in violation of the listed code sections, including tree trimming, hat racking, and tree abuse. I accept the plan that the city has offered for 1,825 days or 5 years of monitoring, including the yearly repair report on the health due on March 1st, but no later than March 5th. Should the respondent not follow the terms of this agreement, the city can bring it back for possible fine assessment. Did I miss anything?
You're good.
All right.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
City calls number 15, case number CE 260248990, 530 49th Street.
Morning, Your Honor. Code Officer Apicella of the City of West Palm Beach. Your Honor, I believe this young lady here was not here during the swearing.
Ma'am, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Florida?
I do.
This property was inspected and issued a courtesy notice on 12/17/2025 by Officer Andrew Jacquez, who is no longer with the city. On 2/11/26, I was assigned this property and asked to follow up on the courtesy notice. I conducted the inspection on this same date and observed 7 violations. None of the courtesy notice violations had been addressed. Should I go out and come back? Okay, just a second. None of the notice had been, none of the violations had been addressed. I took photos to document my observances, and they have been uploaded to the case file. The courtesy notice was then escalated to a notice of violation. This notice contains the location, date, and time of this hearing, and my contact information, and was created under case number CE 2602-4890. On 3/16/26, I re-inspected the property and found 2 violations were still viable. Those 2 violations include 94-485-E, surfacing of driveway, and 94-302-A, a fence and wall maintenance. The notice was posted on the property on 2/12/2026, and an AOP affidavit of posting was signed and notarized and entered into the case files. Certified mail and U.S. mail was sent on 2/26/26. Certified mail was received and signed for on 3/5/26. Initially, there were 7 outstanding violations. 5 of those have been complied voluntarily. On 2/18/2026, I received a call from Val, who identified herself as a representative for the owners of the property employed by Julie's Realty. She requested that I email her a copy of the NOV, which I consented and sent the same day. She also stated that there were squatters on the property and they were in the process of having them removed. I did view in one of my visits, there was a notice posted on the door from the county with an order to vacate. On 3/6, I did receive a call from Julie, who's the young lady over here, who identified herself as dealing with the real estate company and handling the property. I discussed the violation and explained what needed to be done to become compliant. On 3/17/2026, I received a call from Julie, and she advised that she has a buyer who was aware of the outstanding violations. In our conversation, we agreed on terms and agreed that they would provide a copy of the warranty deed once closing has occurred. I re-inspected the property and found the violations that I mentioned previously to still be unresolved. The city is requesting 120 days or $100 a day to become compliant.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, my name is Julie Sidorevskaya. I'm the broker owner of Julie's Realty.
And your relation with the owner of U.S. Bank?
I am the listing broker for U.S. Bank.
And you have their authorization to represent them here?
I do. I have a copy of my listing agreement, which is with Radian, which is their asset management company, and then I have a POA from U.S. Bank to Radian. I can provide those copies if you'd like.
Does the city want those? No.
No objection to a representation.
Ma'am, do you have any objections to the city entering their case file, including their photographs and documents and evidence?
No objection.
That objection so admitted. So the city's saying that you have 2 violations existing on the property and they want to give you 120 days. Is that sufficient, or do you contest the?
I spoke with the buyer who's here, and he believes that he would be able to comply the said violations within the 120 days being provided. So we are okay with that, right?
Yes. All right, in case CE 2602489, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 94-485E. The parking surfaces have to be maintained free of weeds, grass, dust, and debris. And 94-302A4, the fence and wall must be properly maintained. Respondent has 120 days to bring the property in compliance, or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue.
Thank you. Thank you.
The city calls case number 22, case number CE 26024A59, 457 Northwood Road.
Hey, good morning, city. Good morning, Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. I'm gonna give a moment.
Mr. Lattimore, why don't you give him a minute to come up?
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Good morning. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer Donald Lattimore. The plaintiff, they need to be sworn in as well.
Anyone else that didn't arrive when we did the initial swear-in that's going to testify or thinks they might testify? Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
I do.
All right, so property 457 Northwood Road. The violations associated with this property were identified during the quarterly Northwood Village walkthrough, where the property reside in the neighborhood. This property is occupied. I completed an initial inspection on January 26th of 2026 and cited the property for multiple violations. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. I posted that notice of violation at the property and City Hall on February 10th, 2026. I also completed an affidavit of posting on February 10th, 2026. The notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on February 26, 2026 by the city clerk, and certified mail was returned. I completed a re-inspection on March 16th of 2026 and observed the property not to be in compliance with the following code violations. 18106B, there's excessive growth surrounding the property. 18106K, landscape maintenance. The landscape in general just needs to be properly maintained. 744C4, there are trees and hedges obstructing the rear right-of-way primarily. 94454I, there are prohibited trees located on the property. The prohibited tree in questioning is a Schefflera tree. but there's also evidence that there's possibly additional prohibited trees. But the only tree that was cited for was a chevalier tree for this case. In Code Section 94302C2, barbed wire standards, there's barbed wire along the rear of the fence that is incorrectly installed. I took the photographs at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property. And these photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during my investigation. The business owners are present. I have not been in contact with the property owner, and the business owner is requesting additional time to comply to violations, and they do have a few questions pertaining to the violations. The city is requesting at this moment an additional 60 days to comply. An additional 90 days to comply. If compliance is not achieved, $100 per day fine.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate of the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony and evidence.
Can you gentlemen tell me your names, please?
I'm Robert Bono.
I'm Anthony Denosia.
And you are the owners of the property?
Correct. And the business as well.
And the business.
Okay, so you both got it.
Okay. Do you have any objections to the photographs or documents the city would like to put into evidence?
Photographs?
They were showing that.
Oh, I brought my own photographs as well.
You can show those to me as well. I just need to know if you object to the city.
Showing the photographs.
Okay.
But
Well, I guess
right,
I'll
hold on one
address
second.
these,
hold on 1 second. I'm going to accept the city's documents and photographs and evidence as city's composite exhibit. All right, go ahead.
Well, the first one listed here is the barbed wire. And it was
Sir, can you talk into the mic so I can hear you a little bit better?
I'm sorry.
No worries.
It was mentioned that the code was put in place in 1979. The building flower shop has been operating continuously since 1934, and a second story was added in 1965 with a complete renovation of the building. And I've spoken with the owner, although he since then is deceased, the person from whom we bought the business and the building. And I'd like to petition the court to grant us a grandfathered-in status. I found out from a neighbor on the 500 block. They used to own a restaurant called Petanque on 500 block. Now they moved to the 400 block, but he said that he came same as I'm doing here, and he was given a grandfathered-in status for the wire. We started removing some of it. We have photographs of what we did, but there's still some there. I think we were asked to remove the wire and then install it horizontally. Some of the wire is installed horizontally on those armed kind of structures that have added onto the chain link fence to hold the barbed wire. But it's treacherous to deal with that type of thing. And I'd like to add now, we're on what I call life support. We can't afford to pay anybody to do any of this work. I'm legally disabled, senior citizen, and as my partner is. And so I'd like to request a grandfathered-in status. We tried removing as much of the the wire that's on the alley side of the fence and kind of pushing it over to which would hang over our property. And since I found out from this neighbor that he was granted this grandfathered-in status, I'd like to petition the court to grant us the same. And as I said, we are trying to.
Sir, just to save us some time, I don't have the authority to grandfather things.
Okay, well, I don't know how this other neighbor said he.
I can't speak to whatever your neighbor thinks that they have. However, my job is, I'm not a court, I'm not a judge, I'm a special magistrate. I have a very limited purview of authority.
This will need to hear you.
My authority is very simple, right? I listen to the facts and see whether they constitute a violation of the code that is as it is written. If it is, I find a violation. If it's not, I find that there's no violation. What I can do, what I do have purview to do, is give you time, which is I can't waive code sections. I can't say you don't have to follow code sections, but I can give you time to comply. That I can do. But I can't say that you can't follow the code, that you can ignore the code section.
Is there any particular court or judge that has jurisdiction to grandfather in this type of arrangement?
I can't give you legal advice. It's not my role.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying, is there another court or another judge that would hear this case?
I can't speak to that.
Okay.
What concerns me is that we've been the owners of the property for over 22 years. In that time, there were 5 different code enforcers.
At least more, I think. We've had some neighbors attempt to weaponize code enforcement against us.
They don't seem to last very long. City employees, that's all city employees.
Yeah, I can't speak to that either.
Okay, but what I want to say, it wasn't an issue in all the 22 years. Now they're pulling all this stuff from out of wherever of all these violations with trees and barbed wire. This place has been here since 1934. There's been over 5 code enforcers, and now they're coming up with all these issues.
I mean, I can't speak to that. I can tell you I have no dog in the fight. I'm an objective third party.
I don't understand why I'm here then if I can't
Well, I can tell you why you're here because I can see it in the photographs. It looks like the property is overgrown. It looks like you have trees blocking the right of way. It doesn't look like your landscape.
We have
the day before. I was there last night till after 8 o'clock at night when it was dark and raining.
Is there a way we can upload our photographs?
But one person at a time, please.
I have pictures of what they requested us to do.
Okay. Do you want to show those pictures?
Come today. I'll show you what I did.
Okay. Do you have pictures that you would like me to see?
I do.
Okay. Officer, can you go get those pictures?
Sure.
So, yeah. Sir, I can't submit pictures into evidence if you don't actually have them.
That's the debris that we cut off of there.
So it's all cleared.
There's also an issue for the Chefalera tree, which in the first visit was misidentified as a Brazilian pepper, but it's a Chefalera tree. And the term was given to me as evasive. The proper term is invasive. But being a botanist and being in the plant and flower industry since 1971, and prior to that as a hobby as a kid, I know how this particular type of tree reproduces itself. It makes a berry once a year. It flowers and makes a berry. The birds eat it. They digest the outer part of the berry, and then their droppings are spread all over, and that's how the tree populates. What I like to propose is that since we use the foliage in our floral arrangements, it's very valuable to us. It looks nice in the floral arrangements. I would propose to cut down the tree and monitor, so I can get some foliage still growing there, and monitor it. When I see the flower buds coming out, just remove the flower buds, and that would curtail or eliminate the possibility of the tree reproducing itself because it's not flowering and making berries. And it also would allow me to be able to use the foliage in our arrangements. If that's possible, I would very much like to have that.
I can't give you permission to violate the code.
Consideration. Is there anything else on here? Well, we started cutting the trees overhanging the road, and yeah, it's in those photographs there. I'm trying to find if there are any other issues there. Excessive growth. Yeah, we
It's all been taken care of.
Yeah, that's been taken care of. We're in the process of taking care of that. I'm trying to see what other issues there are here. But we intend to get on the inside. I believe we're supposed to remove one of the trees, a Brazilian pepper. There's some other trees there, like black olive and oak. Those are not invasive species. Those are allowed to be there. But
to the best of my understanding, the only issue with the prohibited trees is the Chefalera.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one the city has brought, right?
Okay.
Did that come into effect?
If I may, Special Magistrate, there's a few things to unpack really fast. It seems to be a misunderstanding with just the rear of the landscape that needs to be cut from overgrowth. If you go back to the reinspection photos, there's overgrowth that's surrounding the entire property that needs to be taken care of. So that's the first thing. Regarding the barbed wire standard with the barbed wire fence, it's the razor wires that's particularly of issue. And that code came into effect in 1979. The prohibited trees also came into effect of 1979 as well. In regards to the Brazilian pepper and the Chefalera tree, the mistaken error was made on my behalf because the Chefalera tree, I mistermed the Chefalera tree at first. But I have documentation here, and I have been working closely with my supervisor. There's many more invasive trees that are located on property that was not cited for. So to comply this case, only the Chefalera trees need to be removed at this moment. And if the other prohibited trees are not removed, then we will cite for an additional case. Here is a list that's also within the case file that I'm gonna pass over that shows all the prohibited trees that's not just within the city of West Palm Beach, but Palm Beach County in general. Those trees include a cottonwood tree, a Brazilian pepper, and Chefalera tree. All of them are prohibited, so they will all need to be removed.
Well, as far as I see, the only one that was included in this,
For the purposes of this case, the only one that was cited is the Chefalera tree, so that's the only one we're going to focus on. Gentlemen, the city has offered to give you 90 days to bring your property into compliance. Is that enough time for you?
I'd like to have some more.
I agree, Special Magistrate. I do believe, given the misunderstanding with what needs to be done to comply the case, additional time is warranted. So 120 days is what the city would like to recommend at this moment.
Okay.
Is 120 days enough time for
I heard some people being given 5 years. I'm wondering what what the difference is here as opposed to their cases.
Yeah, generally, compliant, that's a different standard having to do with monitoring a tree over time. That's not that they can not comply in 5 years or take 5 years to comply. It just means that they're going to monitor them for 5 years.
I'm sorry, but it's difficult for me to hear you.
Yeah, that's a very different thing. It's not that no one is given 5 years to comply. What they're given is monitoring, which is probably something that you wouldn't want. I don't think you'd want the city monitoring you every year, right?
No, well, it seems like every time an agent comes, he finds something different, and that's kind of frustrating. As I say,
I can appreciate that, but let me ask you, is the 120 days enough time for you?
Well, as I mentioned, a compromise, would I be allowed to keep the Chefaleras, cut them down, and just...
I can't give you permission to violate the code. The code says that they're prohibited.
Yeah. All right, well, as I said, we use them in our floral
If you
arrangements.
think it through right, it'd be a very bad idea to allow somebody like me to decide whether or not code sections should be enforced or not enforced, right? The people that decide that are the people that sit up here for the city council, right? They get to decide what's prohibited and what's not prohibited. I don't get to make that decision. I just enforce their ruling, what they establish as the law of the city. And in this city, that's a prohibited tree.
Yeah, well, as I said, I've tried to explain myself. I'm legally disabled. I can't really do very much work because I always need something like this cane or a walker to move around. And we're, as I said, on what I consider life support, we cannot pay somebody to do this.
I appreciate that, and I'm trying to take that into account. So I'm asking you, is 120 days enough time?
What is that?
Do we have a choice?
That was 4 months. I guess little by little we'll have to eliminate it. What I had suggested to, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Code Officer Lattimore, you're fine.
The code officer is, as far as the removing the trees, removing the root system is kind of a bear of a project. What I would do, and I've done in the past, is cut it down as low as possible and then cover it with a garbage can so that it doesn't get any light or water, and eventually the trunk would die away and rot.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to give you 150 days, and I'm going to ask Officer Lattimore if you could talk them through what they need to do to come into compliance.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, in case CE 26024859, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of the listed code sections, including obstruction of the right-of-way, overgrowth, landscape maintenance, barbed wire standards, and prohibited trees, specifically the Chefalera tree. Respondent has 150 days to come into compliance, or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue. Good luck.
Okay, we have those, I don't know what they're called, those extender arms that are intended for the application of the barbed wire. The code officer was asking us to remove it and then reset it horizontally. Some of it is there, so if we remove the razor ribbon and leave the barbed wire in place, would that be acceptable?
But all I can tell you is you need to follow the terms of the code.
Well, this is what he had explained to me.
94302C2. It's in the.
I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty hearing you.
Code officer can walk you through it as well.
Yeah, we'll talk to you.
Okay.
Come by. He'll come by.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's not ours. I don't know what that is.
No, that's a list of all the cases.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Number 26, case number CE 26014-604, 255 Ivernia Street.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Officer Forestier, West Palm Beach Code Compliance. This property was cited on 1/9/26 and posted on 1/9/26. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 1/15/2026. I have been in contact with the property management of the property. This property was cited for 94113D7 landscape and streetscape maintenance. I observed 3 trees missing from the streetscape. All the trees removed must be replaced. All photos accurately and truthfully depict the violation when observed. As of March 17th, 2026, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is requesting additional 90 days. If they don't come in compliance, the city is asking for $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Can you describe the violation? What is it that's
There was
wrong
3
here?
trees in front of the building that were removed and not replaced. Yeah, additionally, there is a site plan that they were supposed to follow, so they took the trees out but never replaced them. So the grids are still on the sidewalks with irrigation still connected to it.
Okay. Can you ladies tell me your names, please?
Samantha Veach. Luisa Ana Carrizo.
Sorry, it's Samantha Beach, and
Luisa Ana Carrizo.
can you spell your last name for me?
Carrico.
And what is your relationship to the condo association?
We're with the management company.
Okay. Do you have any objections to the photographs or documents the city would like to put in evidence?
No. No.
Without objection, so admitted. Go ahead. So what's going on?
All right, so we've already applied for the permits. We have 4 trees that we're replacing. We're actually removing the royal palm, replacing with 2 medules, and then also installing 2 live oaks. The only issues that we are still waiting on is just the time of delivery due to the boat show and everything that's going on, and then also for the permit application to be approved.
The city's asked me to give you 90 days. That seems plenty of time.
Yep. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
All right, CE 260-14604. I make the following findings of fact in life. I notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 94113D7, the removal and not replacement of the trees. Respondent has 90 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go right to the top, which I think would be 4, right? Is anyone here on a case that hasn't been called? Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Number 4, case number CE 25114412, address 631 30th Street.
Good morning. My name is Alessio Carilli, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. On February 23rd, 2026, observed the property at 631 30th Street to be in violation of the following ordinance: 94-442-C-1, which is landscape areas must be grass. I observed the front, back areas needed to be sodded. 94-442-E, which is the landscape of swales and parkways. Also observed the swales and parkways needed to be sodded as well. 18-106-A, clean and sanitary. I observed the trash and debris to be on the front and back and alleyways. 94-446-2-E, which is edging. Observed the property needing to be edged in the front and the swale area. And 18-106-G, which is paint. Observed the home needed to be painted, the structure needed to be painted. So the city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of today's hearing. The notice of violation and notice of hearing was sent via certified mail, however, it was returned on March 6. The notice of violation was posted on the property on 2/23 of 26, and also completed an affidavit of posting on 2/23/26, which is in the case files. So I took the photos of the initial investigation, and when I revisited the property, these photos accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during the investigation. I have had no contact with the homeowner or the property management company. The city is requesting 30 days to comply, or a $100 a day fine per day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. The notice was sent by certified mail and regular mail,
Correct.
and it was posted on the property and at City Hall.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that 30 days is a sufficient amount of time to bring this property into compliance?
I do.
Has there been any evidence that they've been trying to bring it in compliance?
Yes. Yes, they've been on the property working. Their intention was to tear it down, but since then they've been working on the inside. So the inside is almost done, and then they're coming work on the outside of the property.
And you think 30 days is enough time to bring this?
For the outside, I believe so.
Okay. KCE 25114412, I make the following findings of fact and law. If a notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of code sections listed, I adopt by reference to testimony of the code officers the nature of those violations. Give the respondent 30 days to come into compliance, or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
The city calls number 5, case number CE 25124449, address 633 29th Street.
Complied.
I have that as complied.
I don't have it here. City calls number 6, case number CE 26024-839, 108 Gregory Road.
Good morning. Officer Raphael, Code Enforcement Officer of West Palm Beach. This property was cited by a former Code Enforcement Officer and was reassigned to me. I am familiar with the case. This property was cited on 2/6/26 and posted on 2/6/26. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 3/12/26. I met with the owner of the property during the inspection of the violation, which is 7894, restriction on plantings. I observed that the height of the berm around the trees and along the swale areas, I measured at 3 different spots, which ranged from approximately 6 to 9 inches. I also observed some pooling in those areas. City arborists agree that the height and extra soil is causing drainage issues, and the email is in the case. Photos accurately and truthfully depict the violation when observed. As of March 13th, 2026, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is requesting an additional 30 days. If they don't come in compliance, then the city is asking for $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. What did they plant in here?
I'm not sure what kind of plants they put in, but they raised the swale up to between 6 to 9, maybe 10 inches in some areas, which is now causing rain to pool on the sidewalk and as well on the street. So across the street, there's a steady stream, but on this side of the street, it just pools and there's a slow stream.
So the
And
concern
no
is that
drainage.
it's being maintained at a height greater than 6 inches?
Correct.
Okay. And do you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time to bring this into compliance?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 2602489, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of section 7894, specifically the swale cannot be maintained at a height greater than 6 inches. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue. Well, you got video here too.
The city calls number 8, case number CE 25124549, address 302 North Tamarind Avenue.
John Williams, Code Enforcement. I'm representing this case on behalf of Mark Slater, who's no longer with the city. And this case, 302 North Tamarind Avenue, was cited by him on December 29th of 25. Certified mail and regular mail mailed out January 8th of 26. The property was posted December 29th of 25. Mr. Slater observed the following violations on his property. 18103B, the condition of the structure, exterior walls. 18106A, trash and debris on the property. 18265, boarding certificate. 18106G, paint exterior. 18265B, boarding the building without a certificate. And 94485-B-1-E, parking lot striping. And finally, 18-214A, painting the boards on the windows of the property. I did a re-inspection on 3/16 of 26. During my re-inspection, there are only 2 remaining violations that's outstanding. Those 2 violations, 18265, boarding certificate, and 18265B, boarding the building without a certificate. My recommendation today is 30 days to comply or a $50 per day fine thereafter.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate of the City would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony as evidence.
That objection so admitted. So we're just down to they got boards on the windows?
Yep, and they need a certificate.
And 30 days is a reasonable time to get that done?
Yes, more than enough.
All right. Have you had contact with this?
No.
But they have complied the rest of it, huh?
That's
Seems
why I
like they did
called.
the hard part.
Right, they did all the hard work. It was a mess.
All right, case CE 2512459, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18265B and 18265, which is the boarding certificate and the boarding of the building. Respondent has 30 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Number 16, the city calls case number CE 2602417, address 419 49th Street.
Good morning. Tony Apicella, Code Officer with City of West Palm Beach. Case involve the address of 419 49th Street, case number 26024817. On 11/19/26, I received a walk-in complaint in reference to neighbors viewed this occupant bringing water into the dwelling on a daily basis, and they were concerned about her well-being. I followed up with the Utilities Department and found that her service was disconnected, and it looks to be like as in May of 2018. On 11/20/25, I visited the property. I apologize, it was on 25, not on 26. 11/20/25, I visited the property and spoke with the owner occupying the dwelling. Her name is Sherry Wilkinson. She stated that she did not want city water and was trying to have a well put in. She stated that she was denied the permits required. Further investigation revealed that the meter actually had been removed for non-payment. I revisited the property. I did have a conversation with her, and I pointed out violations that I saw, and was one of concern that she needed to get this water situation taken care of. And then she made a comment that it seems that the city always cites her in the month of December. So I purposely, to break the trend, did not follow up on it until January. I revisited the property on 1/30/2026, at which time I observed several violations. I documented these violations through photos that were taken by me and accurately depict my observances. These photos are uploaded in the case file, and notice of violation was composed for the violations I observed, and the notice contains the date, the time, and location of this hearing and my contact information. Those violations include is 94-71-C outdoor storage. She has a pile of, I would say, construction material, and it looks like railroad ties up against the building. Trash and debris throughout the property, tree limbs, miscellaneous debris, overgrowth. When I mentioned it to her, she said that her lawnmower had been broken for approximately 3 months. And I explained to her that, you might have to make other arrangements to get the property taken care of. And then the biggest one is 18-97, which states basic equipment and facilities. No person shall occupy as owner occupant or let another occupancy any dwelling or dwelling unit for the purpose of living, sleeping, cooking, eating, or eating therein, which does not comply with the following requirements. And I'm referring specifically to subsection 1 that says every dwelling unit shall contain a kitchen sink in good working condition and properly connected to a water and sewer system approved by the building official. So, Your Honor, we have a representative. The building official is here this morning. Would you like to hear from him?
Sure.
Morning. I'm Ryan Brown, Chief Plumbing Inspector, City of West Palm Beach. We have, on the building side, code violations that are already accruing fines, but I personally have, I can attest that there is no sewer or water to that building. And if at the time of my violations, I couldn't prove that she was living there, but that's where our communications have come in, that she is actually occupying the dwelling, has no sewer, has no water.
Let me just make sure I understand. So a person is living in a building that doesn't have access to water or sewer?
That is correct. I don't know where the water is going. I know it's disconnected below the surface. She's been observed carrying water in and out. I've spoken to the neighbor who observed, who doesn't really want to be identified, neighbor wars.
That's all right. I have enough. I don't need to know anymore.
On 3/16, I visited the property again to verify if any of the outstanding violations had been corrected. I found that none had been addressed. I also received information from the Utilities Department outlining the overdue amount for the sewage and water, and that has been uploaded to the case. I took the liberty of printing that out if you want to look at it.
No, I'll take your testimony as dispositive on the issue.
Okay. All right, and a notice of violation was posted at the property on 2/5/26, and an affidavit of posting was signed and notarized and uploaded to case files. Certified mail and U.S. mail was sent on 2/26/26 and was received and signed for on 3/3/26. I have had no communication with Ms. Wilkinson, no attempt to communicate in any way, shape, or form. The city, I don't know how well it's going to do, but the city's requesting 60 days for compliance or $150 a day until complied.
I believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time in this case.
It's been almost 20 years and nothing's been done, so.
Yeah, I know, that's always the tricky part, but, that's actually not really what I'm asking. I'm asking if I order her to do this today, is 60 days enough time for her to get it done?
I believe so.
Okay. Do you want to submit the,
Yes, thank you, sir. Special Magistrate City would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. Case CE 26024817, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of the listed code sections. I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officer as to the nature of those violations. I hereby give the respondent 60 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to $150 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 9, case number CE 26014735, 329 Clematis Street.
That one's rescheduled.
That's rescheduled.
That's rescheduled.
Number 10, case number CE 25124543, 310 North Tamarind Avenue.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement. This property was cited by Mark Slater, a previous code officer no longer with the City of West Palm. He cited this property on December 29th of 25. Certified mail, regular mail sent out January 8th of 26. The property was posted December 29th of 25. Mr. Slater observed the following violations on this property. 18212C, sign requirements. 94-302-A-2, fence prohibitions. And 74-4-C-4, trees and hedges obstruction right of way. And 94-302-A-4, fence and wall maintenance. 18-209A, registration of vacant property. 78-6, numbering standards. 18106A, trash and debris. 78-6-2, numbering locations. 18-265, boarding certificate. Previous certificate expired July 22 of 25. And 18106G, paint exterior. 18265B, boarding building without a certificate. And finally, 18-214A, paint boards on the windows. I did inspect the property myself on 3/16 during my re-inspection. There are only 3 remaining violations on the property. And those violations are 18209A, registration of vacant property, 18265, boarding certificate, and 18265B, boarding the building without a certificate. My recommendation today is just 30 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day.
How many days?
Sorry, 30 and 50.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Thank you, Special Magistrate. City would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. If I understood your testimony correctly, of all those code sections you just listed,
same owner.
the only ones left are the boarding, the
Yes.
boarding building, and what was it, the vacant?
Registration, yeah, vacant proper registration. So it's only paperwork, basically. Same owner of the previous building.
18209A. But they have the vacant building sign?
Yes, so I have to verify to make sure that they're registered. So I haven't been able to verify the registration yet.
Seems to, well, I'll ask you anyway, but it seems 30 days is reasonable to do
Yeah,
that.
I think so.
Okay. All right, case CE 25124543. I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I found the property in violation of 18209A. They have to register the vacant property, 18265B and 18265. The boarding certificate is needed for the building to be boarded. Respondent has 30 days to come into compliance or fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 11, case number CE 26014-753,
I think that's complied.
46, 45th Street.
That's complied.
That's complied. Yep.
Address 4214 Greenwood Avenue.
Good morning, Kishana Watson Foster, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. 4214 Greenwood Ave was referred to me by the Development Service Department for delinquent license. The property was cited for Section 22-441 rental license, being outstanding as of September 30, 2025, and 22-32-A certificate of use, which was expired on 9/30/2025. I initiated my investigation on February 25th, 2026. The city issued a notice of violation, which identified the violation, my contact information in today's hearing. The notice was mailed by regular and certified mail on March 3rd by the city clerk. The certified mail is still showing in going through transit. In addition, the notice was posted at the property in City Hall on February 25th, 2025. I completed an updated posting that is located in the case file as well. As of yesterday, its property did not pay their rental license and remained out of compliance. At this time, the city is requesting 15 days to comply. If compliance is not achieved, a one-time for $250 for Section 22-441 and a daily fine of $100 for Section 22-32-A.
Thank you. Special Magistrate City would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. Have you had any conversations with the property owner here?
For a previous case, but not this one. And I did put a correspondence.
Same issues?
No. So he had a fence that he had to repair and stuff like that, which I had to meet him at the property, and he did let me know he lives in Port St. Lucie.
So this is a
rental
property?
Correct.
And there are tenants on the property?
That is correct.
And you observed that?
Yes.
You wanted to give them 30 days?
No.
15 days?
15 days.
We usually give them 30. Why 15?
No, so for rental license, because they're all delinquents, I only request 15 days for all of them, never 30. Because it's just for paying for their expired license that they already have.
I think you have some aid arriving over your shoulder.
Generally, sir, for renewals, it's 10 or 15 days. It's just to pay the fee. It's not as though they got to go through an inspection or anything like that. It's just the renewal fee.
And 15 days is a reasonable amount of time to do that?
Correct.
Absolutely.
So 15 days or $250 for 22-441?
Correct.
And what was the fine you wanted on 22-32A?
Yes, $100 for that one.
All right, in case CE 260-24945, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient from the property in violation of the listed code sections, which is a rental license and certificate of use, respondent has 15 days to come into compliance, or a fine of $250 shall issue for 22-441 and $100 a day for 22-32A until it comes into compliance. For 14.
14, case number CE 260-14791, 383 31st Court.
Good morning, Tony Apicella, Code Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This case involves an address located at 383 31st Court. Case number CE 2601-4791. I was notified by Planning and Zoning, Ms. Megan Bichot, who is the arborist for the city. I'm guessing that is her title. That trees had been removed from this property without proper permits. I visited the property and took photos of the current state of the property. There is an active demolition permit for this property. However, the trees were not included in the demolition permit. There was a previous case on this property where I had taken photos for other violations that showed locations of the trees that were removed. All these photos were taken by me and accurately depict my observances. They are attached in the case file. I visited the property on 1/30/2026 to take photos at the request of Megan from Planning and Zoning. These photos were compared to the photos from the previous case that was opened in September of 2025 that shows the number of trees and locations thereof. I returned to the property on 2/5/26 and discovered that even more trees had been removed. More photos were taken and added to the case file. A notice of violation was generated on 2/2/2026 under case number CE 2601-1479. The notice contains the date, time, and location of this hearing and my contact information. The notice was posted at the property on 2/5/2026, and an affidavit of posting was signed and notarized and added to the case files. Certified mail and U.S. mail was sent on 2/26/26 and was received and signed for on 3/6/26. The only violation issued to this property is 94-448-D-1. The tree alteration permit, no permit obviously was received or applied for in reference to the demolition of the trees. I have dealt with the owner of this property previously, as I mentioned prior, so we have been in constant contact. Excuse me.
So
I
they're
did
gonna
check.
get their tree permit?
I'm sorry?
Are they going to get their tree permit?
Yes, I did check this morning, in fact, and the records reflect that the approval process has reached over 50%. It does have a due to be completed date by July 10th of 26.
That's a long time.
So in the interest of allowing the process to reach its fruition, the city is requesting $120 a day to comply or $100 a day until compliance is achieved. I did discuss this with the property owner, and he did indicate that that would be plenty of time for him.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. In case CE 260147191, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient to find the property in violation 94448D1, removal of trees without a permit. Responded has 120 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day. May I issue?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Number 17, case number CE 26024893, 821 35th Street.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
All right, my name is Neil Maharaj, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer, case number CE 2602-4893. Property in question is 821 35th Street, issued on February 12th, 2026, to the owner, M2B Holdings, LLC, in care of Matthew Burzbick, J. I received notification of this violation through a residential complaint. As a result, the following violation was observed during my inspection and remains not in compliance. 94-302-A-4, which is fence or wall maintenance. In this situation, it is a fence that has collapsed and is obstructing the sidewalk.
Do we have a picture of that?
Which case is it? I believe this is another case.
It's not 821? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm the one to enter it. Thank you.
It's okay, I'll give you a moment.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
No worries. It's been a long morning.
You can keep that one open. That is my case as well.
Yeah. The one next, yeah.
Have you had any contact with the property owner?
The property owner, no, I have not. They have not reached out to me, and I've been unable to communicate with them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely a fence blocking the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So the neighbor across the street was.
I'm surprised you only got one complaint.
Yeah, there are other outstanding violations on the property that are
I
already.
want to know about those in the context of this case.
Yeah, gotcha. So, certified mail was successfully delivered as of March 3rd, 2026, and the NOV was posted on February 13th, 2026, with the affidavit of posting notarized and submitted to the case files. I have conducted an re-inspection of the property and noticed the fence remains down on the sidewalk and is non-compliant as of March 16th, 2026. There has been no contact with the property owner. The city is requesting 10 days to comply or a 100 fine per day.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
That objection so admitted. Do you believe 10 days is a sufficient amount of time for them to bring this into compliance?
Yes, because it's not just obstructing the sidewalk, it's completely, you would have to completely avoid the sidewalk there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a safety
I don't
hazard.
disagree with you on that. There is an urgency to this. I just want to make sure that they can comply within 10 days. I mean, compliance in this case is what? To put the fence back up?
Yeah. Or, well, they can remove that section or simply push it back up and support it again correctly.
And you think they can do that in 10 days?
Yes, I do.
All right, in case CE 26024893, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation 94302A4, which is the fence is in an unsafe condition. Respondent has 10 days to bring the property in compliance or fine up to $100 per day. May I issue?
Number 18, case number CE 25114353, 1215 North Tamarind Avenue.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Neil Maharaj, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. Case number CE 25114353. Property is 1215 North Tamarind Ave. Issued on January 22nd, 2026. Owner is Palm Beach Lake Owner, LLC, in care of Gail Yosefi. I have inherited this case from the issuing officer, Mark Slater, since he is no longer employed with the City of West Palm Beach. I have conducted a progress inspection as of March 16th, 2026, and as a result, the following violation remains not in compliance. 18-212-C/D, vacant building sign required. Certified mail was successfully delivered on January 29th, 2026. The NOV was posted on January 14th, 2026, and the affidavit of posting was notarized into the case files. The city is requesting 30 days to comply or a 100 fine per day. As of right now, we were in touch with the property management, me and my supervisor, Richard Pasvino, and they stated that the sign should be up there as of yesterday. I was unable to re-inspect, so I believe 30 days is more than enough time to confirm.
So this is just the sign?
Yes, they've already registered. Now they just need to post the sign in the correct location.
I agree. 30 days is very reasonable. Does the city want to submit the? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Special Magistrate. The city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony as evidence.
So admitted. In case CE 25114353, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18212. Specifically, the vacant building sign is required and is absent. The respondent has 30 days to come into compliance or fine of $100 per day. May I issue?
Number 19, case number CE 26014692, 3406 Greenwood Avenue.
Good morning. My name is Neil Maharaj, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer, case number CE 2601-4692. The property 3406 Greenwood Avenue, issued on January 22nd, 2026, to the owner of Fernan Bontemps. While researching my assigned properties on the delinquent BTR projects for 2026, I confirmed that the subject property has outstanding fines due for both their rental license and certificate of use. I went ahead and I issued 2 violations to the property owner for not having both of these requirements. As a result, the following violations remain not in compliance. 22-441, which is for the rental license, 22-32-A, which is for the certificate of use, Certified mail was not successfully delivered due to no authorized recipient available. The NOV was posted on January 23rd, 2026. Affidavit of posting notarized and submitted to case files. A check has been made in the system as of yesterday, and the license is still not active for 2026. Fines are still due. I have attached a screenshot of an internal note from a previous case issued on December 29th, 2025 to the property, where confirmation that there is a tenant currently at the property and it is being rented. No contact has been made with the property owner. The city is requesting 30 days to comply or a $100 fine per day.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. Walk me back through that. How do we know this property is still being rented?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
How do we know this property is still being rented?
Because of a previous violation that was issued, when that officer knocked on the door, I was present at that time. The tenant came out and spoke on the facts of that case.
How long ago was that?
That was December 29th, 2025.
And as far as you know, the condition of the property is the same? The same tenant is still there?
Yes, because that is my area. I've driven around and I've seen that lady outside collecting the garbage can and such.
And you said there's a previous fine for these sections?
No, they're just delinquent. So they have due fees for their 2026 rental license.
All right. And I'm sorry, what were you seeking?
So I stated something here, but I would like to state change it to 15 days or a one-time $250 fine for the rental license and a $100 fine for the certificate of use per day.
Okay. KCE 260-14692, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 2241, the rental license, and 2232A, the certificate of use. As to 2241, I issue, the respondent has to come into compliance within 50 days or a $250 fine. As to 2232A, the respondent subject to a $100 fine per day after 15 days.
Number 20, case number CE 251244493, 818 4th Street.
Good morning. My name is Neil Maharaj, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer, case number CE 25124493. The property is 818 4th Street, issued on December 11th, 2025, to the owner of 818 4th Street Land Trust, Cheryl Nasai Bishop. I've inherited this case from the issuing officer, Mark Slater, since he is no longer employed with the City of West Palm Beach, and I have conducted a progress inspection as of March 16th, 2026. As a result, the following violations remain not in compliance: 18-103-J, 18-106-G, 18-105-J, which is for painting the exterior of the home, 18-103-B, weather-tight exterior, which is in this particular situation for the windows, 18-103-F, 18-105-F. The stairs leading to the front door require maintenance, repairs, 18-103-I, 18-105-I. Every supplied facility reference the dishwasher not working and needs to either be replaced or removed completely. 18-103-D for roof drainage, wet drywall on the interior, possibly from a leaking roof or wall. 18-103-C, interior walls, ceilings. The AC vent needs cleaning on the interior. Certified mail was successfully delivered as of January 29th, 2026. The NOV was posted January 14th, 2026, and the affidavit of posting was notarized into the case files. I was able to conduct a progress inspection on only the exterior of the property and confirm that compliance has not been achieved. For the interior violations, I had no access and was unable to contact the tenant to confirm if compliance was achieved or not. From what I viewed on the 16th, the property might now be vacant. As I looked through a window, I could see there's nothing in there. The city is requesting 30 days to comply or a 100 fine per day.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. Are all the code sections still at issue as far as you can tell?
So the only things that I can confirm and speak on are the exterior violations, which would be the exterior painting, the weather-tight exterior windows, the stairs, and that's it. The dishwasher, the wet drywall, and the interior, the AC vent cleaning, I can't confirm because I have no access to the interior.
And you've had no contact with the homeowner?
No, me and my supervisor attempted to make contact via phone call yesterday, and there was no answer.
And you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time to bring this into compliance?
Yes, I do.
What fine were you seeking?
It's a 100 fine per day after 30 days.
Okay, CE 25124493, make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of the listed code sections. I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officers. The nature of those violations, I give the respondent 30 days to come into compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 21, case number CE 26014739, 2132 North Dixie Highway.
I think yes. 21 is complied, sorry.
It's complied.
Thank you.
Number 23, case number CE 26024838, 530 Northwood Road.
All right, good morning again. Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. Violations associated with property 530 Northwood Road were identified during the quarterly Northwood Village walkthrough. This property is occupied. I completed an initial inspection on January 26th of 2026 and cited the property for exterior roof repair. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. I posted the notice of violation at the property and City Hall on February 9th of 2026. I also completed an affidavit of posting on 2/9/26. The notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on February 26th of 2006 by the city clerk. Certified mail was signed for. I completed a reinspection on March 13th of 2026 and observed the property not to be in compliance with Code Section 18105B and 18103B. Both of them are pertaining to the exterior roof that needs to be repaired. I took the photographs at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property. The photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, but I have been in contact with the property owner. The property owner is requesting additional time to comply to violations. So the city is requesting an additional 45 days to comply. And if compliance is not achieved, $100 per day. But the property owner would like to request 60 days to comply, 60 days to comply, nothing further.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. Why 45 instead of 60?
So to be honest, I don't think that the damage is as severe, and it can be done within the time frame. It doesn't look like there's any leakage or anything. It's more cosmetic than anything. So 45 days is enough time. She agrees with the 45 days, but would like 60 days just due to the weather and she's working with she's working with a company as well who's going to take a look. She's confident that she can get it done within the 60 days, but just factoring in weather. So
I'll give her 60. In CE 2602483A, I make the following findings of fact on law. If I notice is sufficient, find the property in violation of listed code sections, specifically the roof repair. Respond to 60 days to come into compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 24, case number C260144789, 2412 Florida Avenue.
You get to stay the whole time, huh?
Yeah. Good morning, Officer Raphael Forrester, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on 2/24/26 and posted on 2/24/26. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 3/13/2026. I have been in contact with the owner of the property via email. This property was cited for 2232A certificate of use. I observed that the business has not obtained a certification of use. Also for 82144 business tax receipt. I also observed that the business has not obtained a business tax receipt. At the property, I observed a business operating on site. The business has applied for a business tax receipt and certified certificate of use and currently awaiting completion of the required inspections. All photos accurately and truthfully depict the violation when observed. As of March 16th, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is requesting 15 days, a $250 fine, one-time fine, and then for the certificate of use, $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. What's the holdup?
They did not realize they needed a business tax receipt or certification. This is a company out of New York. They just came in and started a business and then realized that they got...
Well, that's clearly an error. I mean, I guess they've applied. Why haven't they gotten...
They applied. They're waiting code enforcement inspection. They're waiting fire inspection and making sure zoning applies, takes care of it.
So this isn't a renewal. This is a...
No, this
one takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Do you think 30 days might be more reasonable here to get the inspections done?
Sure.
Okay. All right, case CE 260144789, to make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, find the property in violation of listed code sections. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance. In the absence of compliance, as to A2144 business license, a $250 fine, and as to 2232A, $100 a day till they come into compliance.
Number 25, case number CE 260144729, 30A Graybone Drive.
Good morning, Officer Raphael Forrester, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of West Palm Beach. The property was cited on 1/27/26 and posted on 1/27/26. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 2/6/26. I have been in contact with the owner of the property. This property was cited for 9448D1 tree alteration permit. At the property, I observed a tree taken down in front of the front yard. The city is asking the owner to apply for a tree alteration permit and pay a one-time $250 fine. The owner applied for a tree alteration permit and is working with the city landscaper for an on-site plan, city plan for the landscaping. However, the fine of $250 still stands. All photos accurately and truthfully depict the violation when observed. As of March 17, 2026, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is requesting an additional 30 days for the $250 fine to be paid. If they do not come into compliance, the city is asking for $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
So admitted. So they took a tree out. The city has assessed a $250 fine, and they haven't paid it. Is that essentially it?
Correct.
In CE 260144729, to make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice sufficient, I find the property in violation 94448D1. Respondent has to pay the $250 fine within 30 days, or a fine in the amount of $100 per day may issue.
Number 27, case number C 26024-867, 532 East Leywood Road.
Good morning, Officer Raphael Forrester, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on 2/9/26 and posted on 2/10/26. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail on 2/27/26. I have been in contact with the owner of the property. The property was cited for 2232A certificate of use. I observed that the business does not have a certification for use. 82144 business tax receipt. Also observed that the business does not have a business tax receipt. At the property, I observed a business operating on site. The business has applied for a business tax receipt and a certificate of use and is currently awaiting completion of the required inspections. All photos accurately and truthfully depict the violation when observed. As of March 16th, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is requesting additional 30 days, $250 fine for the business tax receipt, and $100 a day until compliance is achieved for the certificate of use.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, City would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
Without objection, so admitted. In case CE 26024-867, to make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient. I found the property in violation of 82144 and 2232A. As to both, I give the respondent 30 days to come into compliance. The failure to comply with business tax receipt result in a one-time fine of $250, and failure to come to compliance with 2232A within 30 days result in a $100 fine, $100 per day fine until compliance is achieved. I believe that's it for us, at least in the original. Right? All right. Are we still scheduled for 11:30 on? Okay, so we're gonna adjourn until 11:30.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
West Palm TV.
West Palm TV, the City of West Palm Beach calls number 32, case number CE200.
I gotta call us back into agenda.
Oh.
No worries. All right, I'm calling us back into order. This is the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for the City of West Palm Beach. The cases will be called in the order in which they appear in the agenda, unless we say it otherwise. When you hear your case called, go ahead and proceed directly to the podium on my right-hand side. The city will introduce the case, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask me for whatever remedy or release that you are asking for. Please note that I am bound by the code of the City of West Palm Beach, which means I have to follow the restrictions and requirements of that. Hopefully you've taken a look at that, as they have very specific requirements, especially regarding reductions of fines. Specifically, when you get here, you should ask me for exactly what it is that you're seeking. And then I will make a ruling. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, which means the formal rules of evidence do not apply here. However, all testimony is taken under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify today, or you think you might testify, or there's a possibility that you might testify, I'd ask that you rise and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida? This time it's probably a good time to make sure that your cell phone is silenced. And if you're going to have a conversation, which sometimes does happen, please take it outside the room, because believe it or not, sound travels pretty well in this facility. All right. Now you can call the first one.
Okay. West Palm Beach TV, number 32, case number CE200-10213, 926 14th Street.
Good morning, Kevin Levine, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Supervisor. The city and the property owner came into an agreement yesterday. The property located at 926 14th Street was originally cited for building permit, shutters on windows without permit, trash can in view of public, and displaying of business operating in a residential area. Date ordered was 3/4/2020 to comply by 4/4/2020. Fine started on 4/6/2020 for $100 a day. Complied date was 2/1/2021. Total number of days out of compliance, 301 days, for a total of $30,100. The city and the property owner came into an agreement for 15%, which amounts to $4,515, payable in 30 days.
I'm sorry, what is the agreement that you reached?
Down to 15%, $4,515.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, sir. My name is Daryl Thomas.
Can you spell your last name, sir?
Yes, Thomas, Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, what is your relation to the owner?
Yes, I'm their realtor.
This is the property at 926 14th Street?
Yes, sir.
The city is representing that you reached an agreement to reduce your fine from $30,000 to $4,515. Is that your understanding?
Yes, it is.
How much time was the city seeking here?
30 days.
It's for 30 days. If the fine isn't paid within that time, sir, it does return to the original amount. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. In case CE200-10213, I reduced the fine from $30,100 to $4,515 payable within 30 days. If it's not paid in that time, it returns to the original amount. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sir.
The city calls number 28, case number CE19020019, 7501 South Dixie Highway.
I'm sorry, he does need to swear in. There was a little confusion.
Okay. If anyone else didn't swear in and is going to testify or might testify, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Florida?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning. Richard Pazmino, City of West Palm Beach, Code Enforcement Supervisor. The property at 7501 South Dixie Highway had a lien, case number CE 190-20019. The original case was ran fines, was liened for parking lot repair, landscape maintenance, unsanitary conditions, trash and debris, graffiti, equipment repair, drainage repair, and expired permits. This case had an order date of May 1st, 2019, with the comply by date of October 28th, 2019. The fine started running on October 29th, 2019, and it ran for a total of 2,114 days at $100 a day. Today, the current fine is $211,400 with a complied date of August 12th, 2025. The city has come into an agreement prior to this hearing with a representative for the owners of the property to reduce the fine to $25,000 payable within 30 days.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Good morning. My name is David Israel. I'm the attorney for the owner of the property, CubeSmart LP.
Mr. Israel, the city is representing that you've reached an agreement to reduce the fine from $211,400 to $25,000 payable within 30 days. Is that your understanding, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, in case CE 190-20019, I reduced the fine from $211,400 to $25,000 payable within 30 days. If it's not paid within that time, it does return to the original amount. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
City Calls number 29, case number CE 0610069A, address 411 51st Street.
City of West Palm Beach, Richard Pazmino, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Supervisor. This property, the property at 411 51st Street has a building department, building inspector code case that was found in violation for not having required permits for work that was in progress for the house and garage. This case is from 2006, initiated in 2006. It has an order date of January 26, 2007, with a comply by date of April 26, 2007. The fine started running on April 27th of 2007, and it ran at $100 a day for 6,725 days. The current fine is $672,500, and this case was brought into compliance on September 24th of 2025. The city was not able to come into an agreement, so the city is asking, as it is a new owner who did not initiate the code case, the city's asking for 10%, which would reduce it to $67,250.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, Daniel Furio. Excuse me.
Can you spell your last name for me, please?
Sure, Furio.
Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Hi, I want to just say one thing. I respect the court systems. I respect what you do. I am a victim here, and I'll go through it quickly because I can be up here all day, okay? I've been living in my house 18 years. These permits that were taken out were done by someone else, and all this time I've had permitted work done. There was never a red flag, and in fact, I did not find out about it. I'm living in my current home now because I can't afford to live there anymore, and I put the house on the market. By putting the house on the market, I became aware of this. I've always been a model citizen. The whole revitalization of West Palm Beach, you remember what it was like years ago. I've been a part of that. I've been a model citizen for that. And it comes at a real shock to me that this even existed. I had nothing to do with this, so my case is, to be honest, I would like it totally dismissed. I know that's like a shocker, but I had nothing to do with this whatsoever. It was a shady title closing. It was a shady realtor that I purchased. He was an investor. And once I was aware of this, I solved everything and brought everything into compliance within a week. If I would have known if there was notification sent to me, never was sent to me. So I spoke to Richard Brunel in the building department. They were very helpful. They sent people out to, examine everything. I'm sorry if I get a little upset. It's a big amount of money. I don't have that in any scenario whatsoever. I mean, so long story short, it's something that slipped through the cracks. Nobody's perfect. Somewhere in either I can't point my finger at anyone, but this just sat on the back burner and built for all these years. $670,000. I've never made that in my life. And this has gotten me really sick. So even a 10%, yeah, I'm grateful it's less. I can't afford that either. I recently, when I did sell the house, okay, I was excited. I found an apartment. The reason why I can't live there, I'm a senior citizen. I'm pushing 70. I cannot afford to live in a house. Last year, my taxes and insurance went up $300. In December, it's going up another $300. I can't afford to live there, so I did the smart thing, and I decided to sell it so I can downsize. I put a deposit on my property. I put a deposit on an apartment. I lost that. I had a buyer in place that wanted to pay $500,000 for the house. I lost that. With the economy the way it is, my house is currently listed right now at $450,000 to sell. So I've already lost $50,000 with this nightmare that's going on. So I know that you guys have a job to do, but I'm begging you for leniency. I mean, I know you got to charge a fine, I get it, but I can't afford this. I am going to wind up going into foreclosure and being homeless. I just don't know what else to say. This has been on me since September, when this house first closed, was supposed to close, and I don't even sleep well. It's a nightmare, and I apologize for getting emotional, and as I said, I know you've got your thing to do, but all I ask is if you'd put yourself in my place. If it happened to you, what do you think the fair price of a fine should be? I'm willing to pay something that I can...
If I might.
Yes.
And I appreciate it,
and I
accept
apologize
everything.
for
I accept everything you tell me is sincere and honest. So believe me, I appreciate. Part of the challenge for me is that we had a code violation go on for 6,000 days, which I can't zero out a code violation that's gone on for this long. Because remember, it's important. Even though there's not a lot of people in this room, this is broadcast and people can see. And what I can't, I have an obligation to the city, among other things, is to make sure people understand that they need to follow the code and they need to check on their property, and that they can't just let something go. Not that you did it intentionally, but something can't go on forever, and then they can come in and just get it wiped away. With that said, I can't go to zero, obviously, but you can make me an offer, and I can try and weigh that.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I have no monies until I sell my property, okay? So, I mean, I can scramble money and put it on credit cards today if I have to, but the max I could pay today would be $1,000.
One thing I can do is I can give you time. I can reduce it and give you time, which may give you time to sell the property and pay it.
Because that was what I wanted to do at the closing table. I would take care of it. But I guess what I'm saying is I know you can't zero it out. I appreciate that. I respect that. but at least be fair. I mean, my house isn't even worth
I
that.
always try to be fair with every person
All
up
right,
there.
my house isn't even worth the amount. It's overwhelming what this has accrued.
Yeah, well, I think the city recognizes it
Okay.
because they,
All right, enough said.
I'll be.
You can tell I like
yeah.
to talk, right?
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, the city very rarely comes up here with a 10%, which is to say that the city already came down substantially from where they typically would go in a case like this, especially for the length of it. So the 10% offer actually wasn't a terrible one from the city. It was actually a pretty generous one from the city, which I guess I'm going to presume is to some degree understanding the circumstances. There's a gentleman that keeps holding his hand up. Did you want him to testify for you?
Did you want to? Yeah, this is my realtor. He just came. He's working diligently, helping me sell the house so we can take care of all of this. He would like to say a couple of words.
Sir, can you tell me your name and have you been sworn in?
Sure, thank you. James DiPola, D-I-P-A-O-L-A, with Keller Williams Innovations in Boynton Beach. I just wanted to make a couple of very important points when you mentioned that it had been going on for 6,000 days, and I totally understand where you're coming from, but from the research I did, there were 2 permits that created this problem. One was to install kitchen cabinets before Danny bought the house, and the second thing was to do something with something involving the air conditioning system. Not that it was put in without a permit, but they didn't do an energy calculation. They never noticed Danny. They only noticed the old owner. Danny bought the house, and the other people abandoned the permits. So Danny never found out about this until September of last year when she was in contract to close at $500,000. I was not the listing agent on that one. And the buyers walked away because we found out about this fine at that time. The other thing I did in the research, Danny has pulled 3 permits since that ongoing fine started. She put an addition on her house in 2010. Nobody said anything. She had to put a fence in because code enforcement actually said that there was a problem with her fence, and she had to replace partial of the fence, pulled the permits. Nobody said anything. And what was the 3rd permit, Danny? You pulled 3. The impact windows, the PACE impact windows that she put in. She did everything without knowing.
Just for my own curiosity, how was this not caught at the original closing?
This is what I'm saying.
Well,
this is the problem.
She went to the title company, and I went to the title company. What they told me was at that time in 2006, 2007, I did a lot of foreclosures and short sales and low mods back then. Apparently, before all that crisis, it wasn't a requirement to clear title to check that. And I almost fell out of my chair because I've done 1,000 transactions.
That doesn't seem right to me.
But she tried to sue, and that didn't work. So this is a really crazy thing, and she really was a victim. And once she found out, she did everything they asked for. She has lost tens and tens of thousands of dollars. And that's the thing I wanted to bring up.
All right, ma'am, so make me an offer.
10,000? I mean, and that would be at the closing table. I'm trying to do the best that I can. I mean, I don't know how much do you want.
All right, hold that thought for a second. What's the city's thought on that?
Code enforcement doesn't object. I have additional information I could present regarding the case, if you'd like to hear it.
Sure.
So the original case, the previous owners, Atlantis Aggressive Growth Company, at that hearing that this case is about, they entered a stipulation with the understanding to comply the violations with the need of permits within 90 days, and their compliance date was 4/26, and then they sold the property to her on 4/30 of 2007. So they, right after the compliance date, they sold it without finishing their part in it. And they entered the stipulation. They attended the hearing.
Is the city good with 10?
Yes.
All right, how much time do you need?
The closing table, where it's supposed to close.
Right now, it's scheduled for April 17th, but we still have an inspection because of this magistrate. So we have an inspection.
All right, 90 days. I reduce it to 10K, 90 days.
Appreciate you, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You're going to want this piece of paper. Yeah.
City calls 30, case number CE 22020-350, A14 44th Street.
Good morning once again, Kevin Levine, City of West Palm Beach Code. Case number CE 2202-0350, 814 44th Street was originally cited for outdoor storage. Date ordered 3/16/2022 to comply by 3/31/2022. Fine started 4/1/2022 for $50 a day. Complied date was 1/16/2026. Total number of days out of compliance, 1,324 days for a total fine of $66,200. Yesterday, I spoke to the property owner and made 2 proposals to her, and she didn't come back with a response. So the city's standard request is 25%.
Which is how much?
That would bring it down to $16,550.
Can you tell me your names, please?
Yes, sir. Good morning. My name is Boris Garita, spelled Gorrita.
And Vanessa Molina.
All right. What are you asking me for, and why should I grant it to you?
Yes, sir. So we are the owners of the property. At that time being, when we were cited for that, we were not living in that property at the time. We were living out of state helping a family member. And at that time, we never received documentation. We never received a certified letter. We never received anything stating that we knew about this. So we just recently started to sell the house, which was in December. We came under contract in December to sell the home, and we found out about this lien. We had no idea. In December, we found out about the lien. We filed, I think it was on the 16th itself, we filed. We were supposed to sell on the 21st, and since then, we've still been trying to sell the property, and everything that the city have asked, we've tried to be in compliance with. We've done everything, as needed and in a quick manner, and we're requesting that we can try to reduce this as much as possible to 5% at least to come within compliance, especially on the sale date. Our home, the inspectors have been out. Our home is one of the nicest homes on the street. We've always been up to compliance. I carry myself, with honor and integrity. I'm a veteran. I'm also I work for the city of Boca Raton, and I run the aquatics division there. So I would never try and weasel my way out of something like this.
How was notice accomplished in this case?
Notice was accomplished by posting. The certified mail was returned for the simple fact that the mailing address attached to this property is 814 44th Street. The respondent testified that they didn't get notice, and that is why they didn't get notice. The city didn't know that they were living out of the area, and by law, by state law, we are bound to send it to what the address is on the tax roll unless notified otherwise.
Yeah, that's the tricky part about all is that the notification requirements under the law are that the city sends the notice to the address listed in the property appraiser's records. And so if the address listed is the address and you're not there, then the notice goes there. And technically under the law, that's all the city is required to do, because imagine if the city, you work for a city, right? Imagine if the city had to try and figure out another address. They can only go by the one that you listed, right? So it looks like notice was here. The respondent asked for 10%. What's the city's position on that? That would be.
The city's going to stay.
I was asking for 5% at the time of the closing.
The city's willing to go 15%.
The city's offering 15%, which would be what?
That would be $9,930.
And you were asking for 5%, which would be, I tell you what I'll do. I'll split the difference and reduce it to 10%, which would be $6,620.
Is it fine if we do that at the time of closing?
I'm sorry?
Is it a fine if we can pay that at the time
How
of
much
closing?
time do you need? Just tell me.
Well, we're set to close, it's supposed to be Monday, next week Monday, so should be soon.
I'll give you 90 days because things happen.
Okay.
All right, I'll reduce the fine to 10%, $6,620 payable, 90 days. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
City Calls 31, case number CE 2402-1506, 627 Winter Street.
Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Supervisor. The property at 627 Winter Street had a code case. The original code case was for unpaved parking, inoperative vehicles, landscape maintenance, swale, missing sod, mechanical work at property, inoperative vehicles, rental license and certificate of use violations, outdoor storage, trash and debris, obstruction of the public right-of-way, and prohibited vehicles being stored at the property. This case, the case had a fine, the date started for the fine was April 17th, 2024, with the comply by date of June 16th, 2024. The fine started on June 17th, 2024 at $200 a day for 427 days, with a current fine of $85,400. The case complied on August 18th, 2025 by demolition. The property was demolished and has been maintained since. The city, the former code operations administrator, came to an agreement to reduce the fine to $4,270. We're asking to honor that agreement to reduce the fine to $4,270
How much time?
within 30 days.
Can you tell me your names, please?
Karina Sepatuka.
And Nicholas Sipatuka.
In your relation to the property owner?
We're the property
You're the
owners.
property owner?
They're the new owners.
The new owners.
The city's representing to me that you've reached an agreement to reduce the fine to $4,270. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Is 30 days a sufficient amount of time for you to pay it?
Yes.
Okay. In CE 24021-506, fine is reduced to $4,270 payable within 30 days. Please keep in mind that if it's not paid in that time period, it does return to the original amount. Unless I'm missing something, that's all,
That's
right?
it. Yes.
All right. Roger.
We're all done.